Hello, YouTube. I am your host, Jesse, and welcome to the In Your Head podcast. Today, with me for episode 5, I have LeMaire Lee. LeMaire,
Hello,
how are you?
hey, Jesse.
And welcome.
How are you?
Doing all right, sir, and yourself?
I'm good also.
Great.
Yeah, I feel good.
Good, that's good. So I'm going to hit you with our intro here, which is to get on this podcast, you have to pass the statute of initiation. You've already been briefed on what this is, as our guests have. So, what can you bring to the table for the statute of initiation?
Okay. Well, I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, right? And 1 year, there was a praying mantis on our, just like on the fence when we were kids where we were hanging out. And I smushed it with a shovel. And that's illegal. I didn't know it was illegal. Yeah. And then there was a blackout right after, 3 days. And for the whole, part of our time, it was just a 3-day blackout. And I was like, this is because I killed that praying mantis.
They're shutting your electricity off.
The whole
shutting
block.
you down.
Yeah,
they found out.
They're crushing the whole city. Yeah.
There's some serious shit for the praying mantis deaths in Detroit downtown.
Yeah, they love praying mantises there.
So about how old were you when this went down?
11 or 12.
11, 12?
Yeah.
So why the shovel? I gotta ask why the shovel.
Because when you're a kid and you see a praying mantis and you're like, what is this? It's like ready to fight and it's like they look sharp, you know? Like I think it was the first praying mantis I had ever seen in person. So I was just like, how do I... And then just smack it with the shovel. This is a bug. We do this to bugs. Yeah.
No, I mean it's logical.
Yeah.
I mean a lot of the stuff I've heard from this, it always didn't. It's interesting to see what people say as far as why they go down the route they do. You know, our episode 1 was grand larceny, and that was pretty much, well, why'd you do it? Well, we liked stuff.
Yeah.
That was why we do it. We liked stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, to see, I mean, I guess Detroit, I mean, I've never been, but I've heard the stories. It's not exactly the most rural and woodsy kind of area. So trees are of thin supply and wildlife, I assume, would be as well.
It's a lot of like dogs and street cats.
Right. Yeah. That's the most of it. Right. Yeah. So when you see a bug, you know, this big, green, angry with
sharp knives.
It makes sense that it's going to be like, all right, this thing's got to die.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to fight this later.
Yeah.
Does it get bigger?
And they do get respectable. I've seen praying mantises like this wandering around.
Big.
Yeah, and so when you're 11, 12, it's just as bad as a spider because you don't know what this thing's going to do. So.
My brother was a spider guy. He was afraid of spiders. Spiders were cool. I was afraid of black widows. Those were the ones.
Well, that's just common sense. I gotta say, that's common sense because there's nothing good about them. They'll mess your shit up.
Yeah,
so.
they'll hurt you. Yeah, a lot.
If you like rotting limbs and shit falling off, I mean, it's great. It's fine, but
if that's your kink, then go ahead. But
there's got to be a website out there. Rule
rotting limbs.
Yeah, there's some kind of getting bit by spiders porn somewhere. Rule
absolutely.
34. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I know somebody's gonna
it's
say.
Probably like a fetish.
Yeah. We better not talk too much, or somebody's gonna be posting links down below. Like, this is the one. I'm like, no, don't post that on my site.
These are my favorite.
This is my favorite spider bite porn. So, but we met a while ago back at High Note Humor.
Yeah,
you were a comedian there, and still a comedian, obviously. So,
I was helping with the mic for a little bit, but I had to stop because I wasn't there enough, and I thought it wasn't fair to keep doing it, and I'm not there, so I just had to stop. Yeah.
No, it's fair. Everybody gets predisposed with other stuff.
Yeah.
You got other things going on. You got other irons in the fire. It's hard to say that you're going to commit to one thing, but at least you were like, hey, you can't do it.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah, it's because when I asked to do it, and they're like, yeah, for sure. And then I didn't have anything going. But then when I started helping them, things started coming. I was like, now I have to, and I felt like a asshole. And
every Wednesday you get kind of like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm there every Wednesday, and I know how you feel. You're there, and you're just like, oh, okay, we gotta. Wednesday night we do this.
Yeah.
Wednesday night we do that. It's so and when you start doing other stuff, and I know you've had you're busy in the city scene and Philadelphia scene with comedy there.
Yeah.
So it's hard to commit to one thing. So no, I feel you. It was It's mutual. There's no love lost. So we still see you around. We wish we saw you more. We do. We wish we see you more. I mean, it's good. It's good having you around. You're a good face there. So you've always been fun to watch, and so it's great having you out there. So, but you do run a podcast as well.
Yeah.
The Coward Hour
podcast. Yeah.
There you go.
I run it with Brendan Crick. It used to be a live show at Good, but then we stopped doing the live show and we just did the podcast. I don't know why we turned it into a podcast when we had a better thing. I think the live show would be better, was better than the podcast. But it's a fun podcast. We just talk about the evil things we do. For Brendan and Matt Byrne, who's our frequent guest, they talk about their depravity, like how awful they are as people.
Well, I think I might have to talk to some of these guys because this would definitely help with the intro question for these guys. It sounds like they'll have that more than covered.
Yeah, so. Absolutely.
But I have heard of the show when it ran at Good. Was Good?
It was Good. It was an alright show.
Yeah.
It was just we call it Fear Factor, but for your emotions. So one of the things, there was a girl named Amanda Taylor who I run another show with at Good. She's afraid of guns and afraid of what people think of her. So we made her hold her gun and we read what people said about her to her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which made her more uncomfortable, the guns or the...
She was so sweaty. She was holding the gun. Yeah, I think it was the gun.
Yeah. A lot of people have a fear of guns.
Yeah.
I've known that a lot of people we know at High Note and other places have. A lot of my friends won't. I'm an avid sporting clay shooter. I am a gun owner, and it's always been to me. It's never something I've been uncomfortable with, but I know it's a fear that a lot of people do have, and it freaks people out to even want to touch them. They never even want to get near them. You can unload it. You can show it. Like, nope, don't want no part of this thing.
You gotta. So, I feel like if everybody who says they don't like guns, you take them to shoot guns once, and they're like, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you should at least have a knowledge of what a gun is, how it works. Even if you're not going to be an avid shooter, I understand. Not everybody wants to go out and shoot clays. Not everybody wants to go out and shoot targets. Yeah. But
it's like a fun thing to do with friends.
It is. In that instance, it's fun. But
I don't know if you take a girl on a date to shoot guns, but if that's her thing,
If it is, marry her. But but even if you're not going to go out and do that stuff, I still feel that people should at least have a knowledge. You should know which end of the gun makes the loud noise. You should know how to operate a weapon.
Load it, unload it, safety.
How to even clear it. I mean, if nothing else, how to clear a firearm. If something happens, you find a loaded fire, how to clear it. That's something that's huge for people because if you don't know if a gun is empty.
No.
It's you always treat a firearm as though it's loaded. First off, but to know that a gun is unloaded, how to clear it. Like people will look at a pistol. I don't know.
There is one thing I hate that gun owners do when they know the gun isn't loaded and they've checked it and then they hand it to someone and the person's like and they're like, whoa, stop that. You're like, you just checked it, man. Quit being goofy.
I know. It's you hate seeing people barrel wave. You go, oh, Well, it does. It still gets in your head. Nobody would like a loaded gun pointed at, regardless. Or an unloaded gun, even if it's an unloaded gun. What somebody would, I've seen it. I was at a paintball range, and somebody went. I could see their safety was on. Didn't have their hand on it, but they went waving the barrel. Like, yo. It's just a paintball gun, and you still don't want to see somebody waving the barrel.
I get it.
So, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what could happen.
Yeah, because how often safety some people are just like, here you don't. Some people just.
Yep. No, they're really casual with the gun. And I think that people should have that base. It's almost something that should be taught, like as a class. It should be taught, like how to gun safety. It's how to protect a lot of people. You never know what could happen, and if you're ever in, God forbid, a situation, it may save your life just knowing how to use it. It's if I handed my shotgun to somebody, they may not even know how to put a shotgun in it, and they could just look at it and go, I don't know what to do with this thing. And it could save your life. Who knows? And I mean, again, silly thought. So many people might think that's, a little out there. But for me, it's, it's. I just find I'm not terrified of them, so I think it's a useful skill to have, I guess.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to. I don't know. It's nice to know, like, if you see one, you're like, I know what that is. Like, I know what's like, like doctors, if they like see a certain, like, not doctors. This is a bad example, but like people who like auto mechanics,
right?
Like how they see certain wrenches and they're like, I know what that does.
Yeah.
You don't know what that does, but I do.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that's for like a 3rd level socket joint or something.
Yeah. But they know, and it helps. You know, it's a little bit of a safety for you. It makes you feel comfortable with what's with what you have in front of you. Whatever happens.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd be much worse off with people reading horrible things about me. You can keep the guns, whatever. That's fine. But when you have to read horrible crap about me, that's like,
no one said anything bad about her, because it wasn't. Because the idea of her fear was that it's people will say bad things, but nobody said anything bad about her. It was just I don't think we would have did it if people said bad things about her. We're not completely evil.
Not totally horrible. Just all right. Just
sort of horrible.
No, I've heard about it, and it does seem like a fun show to let people kind of come to grips with the things that gun wise or personal and things like that. Like we were saying right before we started taping, about the spiders.
Yeah.
That's, or did we say that while we were recording?
Saying,
that was recording. I apologize.
Yeah,
but that's that's perfectly normal to be afraid of. And maybe confront somebody with an irrational fear of spiders.
Yeah.
It's like if I saw a spider over there across the room, I'd be like, oh look, a spider.
Yeah.
That's
you
cool.
wouldn't like be worried about it. You're like, I got some time.
Yeah. But I've known the people who, oh look, there's a little tiny spider across the room.
Just like flip
podcast
the table.
is over.
Yeah.
It's done. It's done right here on the
just
spot.
Like burn down your house.
Yeah. They're like, nah, it belongs to the spider now. That's it. I'm moving out. We're checking out. So, but I know you have your Instagram, Twitter, which we'll definitely talk about, which is at LeMaire Lee.
It's just all at LeMaire Lee. Yeah.
Awesome, and I'll make sure I put links below the video, of course. And you do have a show still going on, you said, for a little bit longer over at Good.
Oh, yeah, Feud. That's with the Amanda Taylor lady. That's the show. It's a show where we argue our bad opinions, or unpopular opinions, like
gun control.
No, like they're a lot more like goofy. They're not like all. It's like one of them was like, you shouldn't be able to get a DUI during the day. Like, or like
that's a thinker.
Or like all fat people shouldn't be able to vote, or just like stupid things like that.
So you just start kind of like a random. I can see where it's going. Like it's not necessarily a topic that people are going to be voracious about.
Yeah.
But but it would be something to have a cool opinion on. Okay.
Yeah, like it's like you just debate it. You're like, here's why I believe this thing, and the opposing team is like, here's why you're wrong, and then it's just nice.
It's a cool debate. Okay. Yeah. So that's it. That's it. Good
yes,
as well. And that runs when?
The last one, I think, is the last one in this current run. Is January 6th.
Okay, this will definitely...
At 10.
Yeah, this will be out before that. So January 6th at 10 o'clock at Good Theater. So again, I'll post a link. Hopefully I'll get an event or something from Facebook, and we'll make sure we post that down there as well. So you'll be able to get to LeMaire's show, because the show's a good or always a good time, for sure. So I hope that's what they meant with that, because that's what I'm running with.
That should be their tagline. The show's a good or a good time.
I'm not a marketing director, but we'll have to run with it. So.
Yeah. It works. It's very smooth. It rolls off the tongue.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Remember that, good. You saw it here first on the In Your Head podcast. Yep. Remember that. So I'm a bit of a geek, so I got to geek out a little bit on this show. So I am going to ask you, what is your favorite video game of all time? So if it's a series, I want you to try to whittle it down to like one game out of that series.
This is going to be weird because it's new. It's like not new, but it's my favorite game of all time is The Last of Us.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I don't remember what my favorite game of all time was before that. That's how like
that pushed it out. Okay.
Yeah, I had games I liked and loved to play, but The Last of Us is like the first game where I'm like, oh, I could play this anytime.
Okay.
Like it was the first game that made me cry.
Wow.
Because it's devastating. Yeah. It's like a good story. It was devastating what happened in the story. It was the first game where I was really into the multiplayer. It was the first like story based game where I was really into the multiplayer. The multiplayer was fun. You'd like build and craft shit.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Can I cuss? I don't know. Because in +2, you
no,
can't
go ahead.
cuss.
No,
Yeah, okay.
we're fine. I don't care. I don't have any
All right.
advertisers or anything like that.
Yeah.
We're fine on this.
All right.
I've been swearing up a storm already today, so
All
it's
right.
we're all right with it. So
All right.
I actually it's one of the first games that I haven't actually played that
Really?
somebody has brought up. No, I haven't actually played it. I know it's
It's a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
I was looking around. It doesn't look like you have much PlayStation stuff.
No, I'm Xbox.
Yeah.
I'm an Xbox guy. I mean,
Yeah.
it was. I was an Xbox guy for convenience sake.
Yeah.
When I made the jump into those systems, the online systems, the one friend I played with had a 360. So it was like, well, you know what? He's the guy I play with all the time. Get a 360. We'll play games together.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. So then it was always I stuck with that.
Because your stuff's already there. You
Right.
don't have to rebuild your profile or anything. You just move it to like whatever the next console is.
Right. So then the one came out and it was like, well, why would I go over to a PS4?
Yeah.
Because I know a couple people with a PlayStation or a couple games. I'm like, well, I already have the 360 games. They're going to be backwards compatible. So I just went with the one, and so that's what ended up happening. But it did seem like a great game. I have seen clips and videos.
Yeah, it's a game that like if you don't play it or you don't want to play it, I would say you can watch. That's like a very streamable game to watch.
I'm trying to think if that's what we played at our Extra Life. Is it? Does it have QuickTime events in the game? Okay, then
a little bit. It's like zombies.
Yeah, that's what I thought we saw.
Yeah.
It's cel shaded graphics.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
I may be thinking of something else then.
Are you thinking of cel shaded zombies?
I'm trying to remember what the game was, and I'm probably going to correct myself after we post this.
Dead? No. Dying Light?
No, it was one based on a TV show. The TV maybe
Walking Dead.
Wait, was it? It might have been Walking Dead or
Walking
Last
Dead.
of Us.
Walking Dead was cel shaded. That was by Telltale.
Okay, then that was the one. I apologize. That's the one I have seen, which was which had a lot of QuickTime events, and it was crazy.
That's the way the game is like. That whole like, all the Telltale games are based is that engine. That it's a weird engine because you don't really like. It's like old point and click games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I saw when I was watching the stream. I got them confused because of zombie game. I'm like, oh yeah, that's it, right? No, that's not it.
The Last of Us has a really great story. It's a really compelling game. Like when you start playing it, I gotta finish it. Like
how long is a normal playthrough? If I sat down,
if you're like just going to play it, probably just like straight through, probably maybe 10 hours.
Okay,
it's not too bad.
Yeah, that's not. It's not like
it's like a fair amount.
It's not a JRPG.
No.
No, so that's not too bad.
You're not going to be spending 80 hours of your life playing this game. No.
Yeah. Okay. That's not bad. I like the sound of that. That's I might have to look at that. But anybody else out there who can comment and let us know if you've played the game, believe me, tell me what you think for sure. Because
let Jesse know about Last of Us. It's a great game.
If the comments blow up, I'm sure I'm going to end up having to get a PlayStation just so I can end up playing this game. So
yeah, they remastered it on PlayStation 4. So.
Oh, so it was originally a PS3 title that they okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So every show, before the show, I always have my guests partake in the 11 circle test.
Oh no.
It's sort of self-done. It's developed by me. It's not exact. I'm not a shrink, and I told everybody, but it's something that I let people do to see how they handle, the circles and what they can, where their mind goes with it.
Did you develop this 11 circle thing yourself, or like?
I kind of developed it myself to see how people use the circles, and we can analyze it. So we have LeMaire's test right here. We have it up on the screen now. I like this one. This is a creative one, and our previous episode that we did beforehand with Mike Fox also utilized the circles really well. Very similar to what you see here. Since this episode is going to be posted in the future, he did a great gas mask image which used the circles really well.
Yeah.
And I like this because it does have it really uses the circles really well, which is great.
I don't even know what it is. I think it's like a cow. I don't know.
So I saw a bit of a cow and a dog kind of coming together. But no, I enjoyed it. It's a great thing. So it just kind of came to you as a cow, huh? Or a thing, and you wanted to use it?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just I just started drawing lines, and then the tongue came out, and that I never mind. What I thought I thought the 2 circles at the bottom, the tongue. I didn't do the tongue and then the 2 circles like a licking butt thing on purpose. It was like a that was an accident, and then I was like, oh no, and then I started drawing this. I was like, this is cool to do twice.
Well, I give everybody 5 minutes, so they can't fill them all in, which is that's the idea, is to use them how you can in the 5 minutes. And I definitely like this one. This is one of my favorites because it's creative. It's cool to see where somebody comes from and how each person kind of pulls from the circles.
Maybe this means I need to go visit my grandmom or something.
Why is that?
Oh,
the bleed through is great, actually.
Yeah, my grandmom lives near.
So for the people who can't quite see it, the bleed through is actually very interesting. So it's a cool. You don't need the circles to see this one or enjoy it, but
it's like a different thing altogether now.
She lives out in farm country.
Yeah, like the middle. Yeah, maybe that's what that means.
There you go. See, we do get into people's heads here, folks.
Yeah.
We do see a lot when we talk to people. Our first guest in episode 1, who was Jeff.
Did he cry?
No, but he had. We brought up the segment at the end with the ink blot, and when he saw the ink blot, he saw a hummingbird sucking the blood out of somebody in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Now he does blood work, and he's he does
he also like in the birds.
No, but something like not at all. But the sucking the blood out of somebody in a wheelchair was just like. He was like, I think I may need some time off of work. And it was like, he could see where his head goes and where somebody goes, but that could be, something like that. And that's, I love it. That's a great one.
Thank you.
So as we move on, I got to take it down a little step though here. So the next part that I always got to ask everybody, which is a little bit darker, but it's a good thinker. So,
I like dark.
Well, we're gonna go there.
Okay.
So, if you were to die today, if today was your last day on Earth, how would you look back on your life as far as the way you've lived your life? I don't want like I haven't done everything I wanted to do. We're both in our we're both young. We're in the early part of our lives. So I don't want to say like I haven't done everything because I get that from everybody I interview.
Yeah.
Right? I get it. Nobody's planning to. Nobody's planning like that when they're 25, 30 years old. So.
I've been thinking about this for a while. I've been trying to figure out how to like do jokes about it, but I don't know how to yet. But my life has been very mediocre. Like I would be remembered as a mediocre person. That like some people would be like he was great, but like people will forget about me relatively quickly. Yeah, like
it's it's. Well, I mean, if nothing else, hopefully that, I mean, you want to do something about it, it's... Yes, he gets a shrug. Well, there we go.
I don't want to be mediocre anymore, but like, it's like I don't think I don't have many impacts on many people. I don't impact many people's lives,
Well, there is time to change it.
Yeah,
there is time to change it. That's why we're saying, that's why I want to bring this up to people and say, hey, maybe if it's something that you think you might want to change.
I've been trying to think about how, but I don't have anything yet. I just know, like, just be the guy who doesn't just like the guy who always forgives. Don't hold things to pressure. Like, if something happens, just like, all right, there's nothing we can do. Let's move on. Let's do a thing. Let's fix it. Let's just.
Right. No, it's a good way to be, but being there for people and a lot of people, it's like, how would somebody remember your funeral? How would what would people say about you?
That's my particular level of vanity. Like it's like, what would they say about LeMaire? Like, oh, he was just fat shit. I hated him. And there'll be someone who's like, he was a fat shit, but I loved him. Like his. And there's nothing I can... That's
not a bad way to be, though. I mean, if it's like, if you want people to come up there and I guess the way I always think about it when I ask this is, if they come up there, are their words going to be sincere? It's like, man, he was a fat guy that I knew, but God, I loved him and I'm going to miss him. You don't want empty words.
Yeah.
If somebody just goes up and just goes, oh, LeMaire was great.
Yeah.
What's that mean? Exactly. You see what I mean? What's that going to make?
Yeah.
That wouldn't make you feel any better.
No. Especially from like looking down, like, you could have came up with something better, Dale. We've known each other for 30 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So hopefully it would be, it would be more of the former.
Yeah.
You'd want that people would have that more emotion for you, and that's what you'd want. That's the way I'd rather be remembered, from the people who
knew me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not just he was great, and then they walk on out the door. See you later.
One of my friends died earlier this year, and at her funeral, it was a lot of like random people, like people who like were just like one-offs that she had knew at her funeral, and I was like, that's what I want. Like, I want people who's just like, this person was a light. Like, it's just like she knew this one girl she met once at a Sprint store who just came and was like very sad and very like fucking like affected by it. It was like power. It was very, and that's like, I think that's what I want. Like, for people to be like, well, I only met him once, but it was like a very great meeting. No,
and that's to be that mark in somebody's life.
Yeah.
To be able to leave that imprint it's a good way to go.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about, right? So, hey, it's great that you see that you want to do it. I mean, it's good, and that's the kind of thing that I'm trying to see, which is awesome. So, hey, it's way to be, man. That's for sure. So, but let's perk it up a little bit. I think. Unfortunately, I don't know if this ink blot's going to bring up the mood a little bit, but I always have an ink blot for my guests that I make for every guest. I make my own ink blots, so they're nothing that pulled off of anywhere. So they're all different. They're all random.
Original.
Yeah, exactly. 100% original. And so this ink blot that we have here for LeMaire, to see what in the world LeMaire may see in this particular ink blot.
I see a smiling flower, actually.
Really?
Yeah, a very happy flower. Like
okay. So the two eyes and the smile.
Yeah, like a dancing.
Okay.
Like it's bouncing along with Milky Mouse as he walks by. That's the type of flower I see.
I kind of picture the song from when Plants vs. Zombies came out. When Plants vs. Zombies came out, anybody who remembers it, they had a video that they came out with at the very beginning of it, and they all had all the plants dancing and singing around. I don't know what the other side would look like. Yeah, how does
this side's
upside down? It's
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like this way is more compelling to like look at, but upside down it's like it reminds me of that Pokemon, Cloyster.
Okay.
Shelder.
No, yeah, no, I see it. For my viewers here, let me flip this over so they can see it a little bit the way we're looking at it.
Yeah.
So actually, I do see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see the Pokemon in there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the weird eyes in it that kind of stares out as it goes. So
just like the I'm gonna clamp on your face. Do you just like?
They're acrylic paint and
they just go
and acrylic paint and fold it up, and that's it. We actually had a very big discussion on previous episode 4 with Mike Fox about what is the difference between paint and ink, and hopefully I'll be able to post something between these 2 episodes, because we found that kind of paint is opaque. The opaqueness is what makes it different, and I didn't know if it had something to do with the medium. Because
ink is thicker than paint, right?
I think it'd be the other way around. Like, ink can kind of set in.
Yeah, paint is thicker than
paint has that. So, like, I would think that an ink, I guess would be the term, would be like a dye. So when you get paint made, and you go to the store and go, hey, I want... You bring over the tub of white paint, and you say, I want this to be this blue, like it's painted on this wall back here, and you say, I want this color, and all that stuff goes in there.
Yeah.
And that's going into the stuff that covers the wall.
Okay.
But I think that dye is more the ink or dye. That's what I think of ink as.
Yeah, that's a good,
I guess that would be the
sense.
difference to me between paint and ink. But so you can see there's some texture in there. It's probably it looks like it shows up pretty good on the actual on our print up there. So so hopefully people can get some textures. And I love hearing comments from people as far as what you think this looks like. So please comment below, let me know what you think, and tell me what in the world you see in that. I almost see a person though on the invert. I actually see I see like a person, like someone in a like really baggy clothes standing there. Yeah, I see something in like really baggy clothes, just kind of standing there, just standing there,
like with a hoodie on.
Yeah, just like a hood and just standing there, big pants.
It's like a druid.
Yeah, just kind of hanging, and I mean, the head is a little misshapen.
Yeah,
but
hey, sometimes you have a weird head.
It happens.
Yeah.
Things happen. Bad hair day, things like that, like me right now, unfortunately.
Oh,
folks.
no, your hair looks nice, dude.
Yeah, I try to keep it short, so I'm sure as these podcasts go, you'll see my hair change
like
and go.
growing,
So yeah, I should just not shave it for until episode 100.
Yeah.
I think it would be a cool.
And then like 99, your hair's like down here, but like on 80, it's like, I mean like 102, it's like here. Yeah.
Just start really record out of order. I think that would really mess people up as it gets longer and shorter.
That would be so great.
So, but yeah, that's yours to keep, sir. So I mean,
I'm gonna keep it. I am. Yeah.
Hopefully we
I was
can,
gonna ask you after, could I have it?
Oh no, that's absolutely for yours to keep because
sweet.
I'm not recycling these. They're for each individual guest.
I want to
so
put it on my wall.
it should be easy enough to hang up. But
Yeah.
but no, I want to thank you for being on the podcast, sir. As far as if there's anything else you wanted to talk about, as far as good, or any other shows you may have coming up.
Feud.
Yes.
January 6th. Good Comedy Theater. Cowdar Podcast. Subscribe to it. It's on iTunes. Soon to be on Stitcher and Google Play.
Okay, so that's the Coward Hour podcast is going to be on is on iTunes. And everything?
It's going to be on everything soon.
Okay.
And we don't have like a set release date, but it's usually released weekly. Every week, like a week and a half. Every week and a half, we usually put out an episode.
Okay.
And then at LeMaire Lee on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat.
All of them. Hey, it's all at LeMaire Lee.
Everything. If I'm on it, it's at LeMaire Lee. Or my Twitch is like PSSH Lee, like shh Lee. Like that's what.
So watch him game. He's definitely a gamer.
Yeah, I am.
As we've talked. So
yeah,
so,
I don't know if I could talk about it yet, but I was on Noah's Game to Gamer thing. Or Plus Your Comedy's Game to Gamer thing.
Right. Well, he's a mutual friend.
Look out for that.
Yeah. Well, no problem saying if you're. I believe you could say we're a part of it. They know we're. I guess it's out there recording. So, but yeah, don't forget Game the Gamer by Noah Houlihan and Will Plus 2.
Yeah.
Gonna be a great show. Yeah.
It's gonna be a great show. You guys should watch it when it comes out.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I guess web series is it again?
Web series.
It's gonna be a web series. So it's gonna be good to watch. That they had it funded for their Kickstarter. It was a great show. They've a lot. Maybe people who were watching this have seen their show at conventions. I know they're usually doing it at conventions, so they'll go from place to place. So they still do live conventions. They do Game the Gamer, and they'll take it there, and you can play live. So if you've ever heard of Game the Gamer, I'll probably post a link to that below too, especially if I have them on at some point. But Game the Gamer, check it out. It's great live. Hopefully, it's going to be even better
web show.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show, recorded and set to go. So, LeMaire, thank you so much, sir, for being on the podcast. And as always, to everyone on YouTube, subscribe to this. Don't forget to like and subscribe to LeMaire and everything else as well. He's got plenty of presence on social media, so don't forget him as well. So like and subscribe to the videos. Helps out a lot, guys. Really drives me to make some more videos. And as always, don't forget your toilet poncho. Have a good one.